You are exhausted. Not just your body, your soul too. It's that kind of tired that doesn't go away after a hot shower. That doesn't fade when you lie down in bed. That just stays there, heavy on your chest, even when everything around you is quiet. The day is over. The lights went out one by one. The world outside grew silent. But inside you, there's still noise. There's still weight. There's still that feeling that you carried more than you should have carried today. And maybe no one noticed. You spent the entire day functioning, responding, showing up, keeping it together. On the outside, everything looked normal. But on the inside, there was a battle only you knew about, a silent fight that has no easy name, but that you feel with a painful clarity right now, in this moment, now that you've finally stopped. Stopping hurts sometimes. Because when the movement ceases, everything you were avoiding thinking about comes rushing to the surface all at once. What was left unresolved? What was said and what got stuck in your throat? What you hoped would be different? What you still don't know how to face tomorrow? And here you are, lying down, with the ceiling as your only view, and your mind still racing as if the day hadn't ended yet. This is real. What you feel right now is real. And you don't have to pretend you're okay, not here, not in this moment. Because this moment is yours. This silence was made for you. And there is a presence that never left, that was by your side during every single second of this heavy day, waiting for exactly this instant, when you finally stop, breathe, and allow yourself to be held. You are not alone tonight. Think about what you lived today. Not on the surface, really think about it. From the moment you opened your eyes until now, how many things did you face without anyone knowing how much it cost you? There were moments you smiled when you were broken inside. Moments you said, "I'm fine," when you weren't. Moments you held back the tears in the wrong place, at the wrong time, because it wasn't the right moment to fall apart. And you held it together. You always hold it together. Some days, life doesn't bring obvious storms. It's not a clear tragedy, not a visible crisis. It's just the accumulated weight of 1,000 small things. A word that hurt, a situation that didn't go the way you planned, a feeling that you're running so hard and getting so little. And still you showed up. Even tired, you showed up. Even without certainty, you showed up. That matters. More than you realize. Because there is something that accompanied your every step today, every decision, every stumble, every moment of strength and every moment of weakness. A presence that needs no invitation to be there. That doesn't pull away when you make mistakes. That doesn't disappear when you doubt. God saw your entire day. Not just the beautiful parts you would show someone else. He saw the parts you hid. The parts you're ashamed of. The parts you're still trying to understand. And he didn't pull away. He was there when you had strength. And he was there when you barely had any. In the moments you acted with love and in the moments you fell short. In every second of this day that you're now trying to leave behind, he was present, like a father watching his child face the world, feeling proud even when his child stumbles. Your day wasn't perfect, but it was real. And everything that was real, God carried right alongside you. The bed is made. The room is dark. The body is still. But the mind never got the memo that the day is over. It keeps going, restless, racing, jumping from one thought to the next without permission, bringing up things you don't want to remember right now, anticipating situations that haven't even happened yet. Building scenarios, rehearsing conversations, reliving moments with a quiet cruelty that only those who know anxiety can truly understand. And the harder you try to stop thinking, the more the thoughts keep coming. There's the worry you tried to ignore all day that now shows up at full force. There's the situation with no easy answer that keeps spinning in your head as if thinking about it one more time might finally fix something. There's the fear you haven't told anyone about, not because you don't trust them, but because even you don't quite know how to put it into words. You know how this feels. That sensation of needing rest, but the rest won't come. Of your body being completely exhausted, but your mind refusing to let go. As if relaxing were dangerous. As if stopping to think were irresponsible. And in the middle of all of this, there is an even deeper pain, the feeling that you are alone in this whirlwind. That no one sees the weight of what you carry. That you should be sleeping, but here you are in the dark, fighting against your own thoughts. But what if you didn't have to fight? What if, instead of trying to silence everything on your own, you simply surrendered? Stopped pretending you're okay. stopped trying to solve it right now. Just opened your hands, these hands that held so much today, and said, I can't carry this alone anymore. This is the moment. This is the place. This is the time to stop fighting and start trusting. There is an enormous difference between knowing God exists and truly trusting Him with what hurts. Anyone can believe when everything is going well. When the bills are paid, when your health is good, when your relationships are at peace, it's easy to be grateful, it's easy to praise, it's easy to say you trust. But what about now? In this dark room, with this weight on your chest, with this mind that won't stop and this heart that is tired of being strong, can you trust right now? That is the real question. And maybe the honest answer is, I want to trust, but I'm afraid. I want to let go, but I don't know how. I want to rest, but it feels like if I stop controlling everything, it will all fall apart. That honesty is not weakness. That honesty is where everything begins. Because God doesn't want your performance. He doesn't want the rehearsed version of you. He wants exactly this, you right now, confused, exhausted, full of doubts and fears, coming to Him without the right words, without perfect faith, without anything but your real need. And it's precisely there that something happens that the human mind struggles to explain. When you stop trying to fix everything and begin to truly trust, something shifts. It's not magic. It's not an illusion. It's the peace that the Word describes as the kind that surpasses all understanding, that makes no rational sense, but that you feel. In your chest, in your breath, in the weight that slowly, gradually, begins to lift. Letting go is not giving up. Letting go is the most courageous act of faith there is. It's saying, I did what was within my reach today. The rest, what is beyond my control, what frightens me, what I don't know how to fix, I place in your hands, Lord. Because your hands are greater than my problem. Your wisdom is greater than my anxiety. And your love for me is greater than anything I am facing right now. Breathe. Feel this moment. Something is beginning to change inside of you. Now that you have begun to release the weight of what is beyond your control, there is something more that needs to be said. Something that many people carry into sleep without realizing it, and that steals their peace in a quiet, almost invisible way. It's guilt. Not the dramatic kind, not the obvious regret. I'm talking about that subtle guilt, the kind that settles at the bottom of your chest like a small but constant stone. The memory of that response that came out harsher than you intended. The impatience you showed someone who didn't deserve it. The word you didn't say when you should have. The moment you chose the wrong path knowing it was wrong. You know what I'm talking about. And there's more. There are the thoughts you had today that you wouldn't tell anyone. The silent judgments you made. The moments you drifted from God not because something major happened, but simply because the day got busy and He kept getting pushed to later, and later, and later, and later never came. That carries weight too. Perhaps more than you realize. Because unresolved guilt doesn't fade with time. It accumulates. It settles into the body, in the tension in your shoulders, in the difficulty taking a deep breath, in the feeling that you don't deserve peace, that you need to punish yourself first, suffer a little first, before you're allowed to rest. But that is a lie. An old, cruel, and very well-disguised lie. God's grace doesn't work that way. It doesn't wait for you to hurt yourself enough before it acts. It doesn't measure the size of your mistake before deciding if you deserve forgiveness. Grace arrives before your repentance is perfect, before your prayer is polished, before you found the right words to say you're sorry. It's already here. It already came. And all you need to do right now is receive it. Not with performance. Not with promises you don't know if you can keep. Just with honesty, looking at what happened today without hiding, without minimizing, but also without destroying yourself, and saying from the heart, I was wrong, I know I was wrong, and I need you. That is enough. It always has been enough. Because there is a mercy that renews itself every single morning, not because you improved, not because you did everything right, but because that is the nature of God's love. Unconditional. Without an expiration date. Without a limit on how many times. You don't have to enter this night carrying the weight of your mistakes. You can leave it all here right now, and wake up tomorrow lighter, not because you pretended nothing happened, but because you were honest, you were humble, and you received what only God can give. Real forgiveness. Real lightness. A clean heart to start again. Feel that settling inside you now. That sensation of the weight getting smaller. Of there being space in your chest that was blocked before. Of being able to breathe differently now. That is grace at work. And it is more real than anything else you are feeling tonight. Forgiveness opened space. Surrender brought relief. And now, as the silence of the night grows deeper around you, there is a request that rises naturally, not from desperation, but from intimacy. Protect my mind while I sleep. Sounds simple. But anyone who has spent nights with disturbing dreams knows how much that matters. Anyone who has woken up at 3 in the morning with their heart racing for no clear reason understands the weight of that request. Anyone who has tried to sleep and spent hours lying in the dark with their thoughts at war knows the value of a truly peaceful night. Sleep is not just physical rest. It is so much more than that. It is the moment when you are most vulnerable. When your defenses come down, when your consciousness recedes, when you no longer have control over what comes to mind. And that is precisely why this moment needs to be surrendered, consciously, intentionally, to the one who can truly guard what you cannot guard on your own. God does not sleep. That is not a pretty phrase to put on a wall print. It is a reality that changes everything when you truly believe it. While you close your eyes, he continues. While your consciousness rests, his presence remains. While you are completely vulnerable, you are completely covered. There is no darkness he cannot see. There is no intrusive thought that reaches you without first passing through him. There is no nighttime fear greater than the peace he can place in the deepest part of your mind. And that is what you are asking for right now. Not mechanically, not as an empty ritual, but as someone who genuinely believes that this presence is real and that this protection is possible. Guard my mind. Drive away what does not come from you. Fill the spaces that fear would try to occupy with your peace. Let my sleep be genuinely restorative, not just physically, but spiritually. Let my body truly rest. Let my mind release what got stuck today. Let my heart wake up tomorrow with something only you can give, renewed hope. Because that is what sleep protected by God does. It doesn't just rest the body, it restores perspective. You lie down seeing your problems one way, and you wake up, after a night under his protection, with a different clarity. Not because the problems disappeared, but because you were renewed on the inside while you slept. Think about that for a moment. While you sleep, God works. While you rest, he organizes. While you are still, he prepares. The night is not a void between one day and the next. It is a sacred space where invisible things happen, where the spirit is restored, where the soul finds what the rush of the day left no room to receive. You are not just going to sleep. You are entering a space of divine care. And when you wake up tomorrow, and you will wake up, you will not be exactly the same person who closed their eyes tonight. Something will have been restored. Something will have been renewed. Something will be different, even if the external problems remain the same. Because you will be different on the inside. And it all begins now, in this moment, when you close your eyes and trust. But before you close your eyes completely, there is something that a heart that genuinely loves cannot help but do. Think of others. Not anxiously, this is not the time to carry anyone else's weight. But lovingly, in that gentle way that only happens when our own soul has found a little peace and naturally wants the people we love to find it too. Think of them now. That person you know is going through something hard and has been trying to hide it from you. The one who sent you a message today and you could sense that behind the words there was something they weren't saying. The one who is far away geographically but never leaves your heart. The one you had a disagreement with and who, even though you are still processing what happened, you genuinely hope is okay. And those who are close, the ones who sleep under the same roof as you or who you will see tomorrow. The ones you love with an intensity that sometimes scares you. The ones who depend on you and the ones you depend on, even if you don't always admit it. They also have internal battles you don't fully see. They also reach the end of the day with their own weights, their own doubts, their own silent pains. They also need protection for this night, a peace that goes beyond what any person can offer. And you, even without being able to do anything right now, can do the most powerful thing there is. You can pray. It doesn't need to be long. It doesn't need to be elaborate. It can be as simple as breathing, and as deep as the love you feel for them. Lord, take care of them. Those I love who are struggling right now, even without me knowing exactly how. Those who are afraid and are alone in that fear. Those who are sick, in body or in soul. Those who have recently lost something and are still learning to live with that emptiness. Those who tomorrow will need a strength they don't yet know where they will find. Cover each of them with the same presence with which you are covering me right now. Give them the same rest you are giving me. Speak to their hearts tonight in the way only you know how to speak. In the silence, in the dreams, in the peace that has no rational explanation. Something happens when you genuinely pray for others. Your own heart expands. The pain that was focused on yourself gains a different perspective. You remember that you are not alone in suffering, and that you are also not alone in being cared for. We are an invisible chain of people who need one another and who, in the most honest moments of life, turn to the same source. And that source never runs dry. It has infinite capacity to care for you and for everyone you just lifted in prayer. Simultaneously, with the same attention, with the same love, without one having to wait so that another can be heard. That is who God is. And now that you have prayed for them, you can let go. You can trust that they are in hands far more capable than yours. You can close this cycle of love and allow the tiredness to finally do what it has wanted to do since you lay down. Carry you into the rest you deserve. You made it here. Not by accident. Not just because the video was playing and you were passively listening. It was because something inside you recognized that you needed this pause, this honesty, this space where no one is asking anything of you, where you don't have to perform, where the only movement required is to open your heart. And you opened it. You acknowledged the exhaustion. You named the restlessness. You released the guilt. You asked for protection. You prayed for others. And now, at this deepest point of the night, there is a surrender that goes beyond all of that, one that is not about a specific area of your life, but about everything. About all of you. Not just the problems you brought with you today. Not just the worries that tried to steal your sleep. Not just the mistakes you already asked forgiveness for. But you, your story, your future, what you don't yet know you'll have to face, what you fear might happen, what you hope for with a hope that sometimes feels too fragile to survive one more day of disappointment. All of it. There is a level of trust in God that is easy to declare in moments of spiritual euphoria, in services, in songs, in moments of collective emotion. But there is another level. Rarer, deeper, more real. It's the level that only shows up here. In the dark. In the silence. When there's no music playing, no one around, no spiritual adrenaline to sustain your faith. When it's just you and God and the raw reality of your life, and even so, you choose to trust. Not because everything is resolved. Not because you received an answer to every question you carry. Not because the fear completely disappeared or because the situation changed. But because you have reached the limit of what you can carry alone and discovered that this limit is not the end, it is the beginning of something your own strength could never build. It is at that exact point that faith stops being a concept and becomes an experience. When you say, not with rehearsed words, but with your entire bare and unfiltered reality, I can't hold this anymore. I don't have enough wisdom to fix this. I don't have enough strength to face tomorrow the way it's going to demand of me. But you do. And I choose to trust that right now, not because I am full of certainty, but because I am full of need. There is a devastating beauty in this moment. Because it is precisely there, in that completely honest fragility, that something supernatural happens. Not necessarily an extraordinary feeling. Not necessarily a vision or a voice or a chill down your spine. Sometimes it is much simpler and much deeper than that. It is a stillness that begins at the center of your chest and spreads slowly outward. It is a breath that grows deeper without you realizing you're breathing differently. It is the sensation that the weight that was on top of you has been redistributed, that you still exist within the situation, but the situation no longer exists on top of you in the same way. That is God. Not as a theological concept. Not as a distant, religious figure, but as a real, close, active presence, who was waiting for exactly this moment when you finally stopped trying to fix everything on your own and simply said, it's yours. I trust you with this. The tomorrow that frightens you? He is already there. The situation that seems to have no way out? He has already seen the ending. What you still don't know how to face. He is already preparing what you will need to get through it. You are not going into tomorrow alone. You never went anywhere alone, only now on this night, you know that in a different way. Deeper, more real, more undeniable. And that awareness changes something that no external circumstance can change. It changes you on the inside. Do you notice how different it feels now? Not the room, not the situation outside, not the problems that will still exist tomorrow. But you, what is happening inside you in this moment compared to what was happening when this time began? The mind that was at war is quieter. The chest that was tight has more room. The breath that was short and held has grown deeper, slower, more natural, as if your body finally received the permission it had been waiting for to truly rest. That is not a coincidence. That is what happens when the soul finds what it was looking for. And it wasn't looking for a solution. It wasn't looking for an answer to every question. It wasn't looking for guarantees about tomorrow or certainties about the future. It was looking for something far more fundamental than that. It was looking for the feeling of not being alone, of there being something greater than itself holding what it cannot hold. And it found it. You went through a lot today, more than most people around you noticed. You carried more than you should have carried alone. You were stronger than you felt yourself being. And now finally you are here, in that place between waking and sleep, between the day that ended and the one that is yet to begin, and you are okay. Not in the shallow sense that everything is resolved, but in the real sense that you are whole, that you made it through one more day and you are still here. That something in you resisted, persisted, kept going, and is now allowing itself to stop. There is a gratitude that rises naturally from this place. Not the performative kind, not the kind you list mechanically because you know you should be grateful, but that quiet, deep gratitude that appears when you truly stop and realize, I am here. I breathed today. I loved someone today, even if imperfectly and incompletely. I was sustained by something that does not depend on my own strength. That is enough. You are enough. Not as a comparison to anyone else. Not as an empty self-help affirmation, but in the sense that God looks at you, with everything you are and everything you are not, with all your flaws and all your beauty, with all your fears and all your hidden courage, and chooses you, cares for you, is here with you right now, in this room, in this silence, on this night, and will continue to be, while you sleep, while you dream, in the hours when you will have no awareness of anything, He will be there, watching over you, sustaining you, preparing what comes next. So close your eyes now, not with anxiety about what tomorrow will bring, not with the list of things that still need to be resolved running through your head, not with the weight of everything that happened today still caught in your chest. Close your eyes with the awareness that you did what you could today, that you are loved right now, exactly as you are, that the night that is beginning is not a threat, it is a gift, a space of restoration that was created specifically so that you can continue, so that you can wake up tomorrow, different, renewed, lighter than when you closed your eyes, ready to begin again. You made it to the end of this night with me, and I need to tell you something before sleep takes you completely, not as a closing line, not as a formality, but as something I genuinely want you to carry with you. The fact that you stayed this long matters, not because you watched a video to the end, but because it means there was something in you that was still searching, that still believed it was possible to find peace tonight, that still had enough faith, even if small, even if fragile, even if mixed with doubt, to allow itself to stop and seek. That is the faith that moves mountains. Not the grand faith of euphoric moments, but this one, the small, the quiet, the one that shows up in the dark when no one is watching and whispers, I still believe. I still trust. I am still here. You are still here. And that is extraordinary. Do you know what is going to happen while you sleep tonight? Life will keep existing with all its complexities and challenges. The problems won't magically disappear. The difficult situations will still be asking for your attention tomorrow. But you will wake up different to face all of it, because something was touched in you today. Something was rearranged on the inside. Something that was broken received care. Something that was heavy was lifted. And tomorrow, when you open your eyes, you will notice that the first thing that comes is not the immediate weight of the day. It will be a gentle reminder that you are not alone, that there is a presence that walked through the night with you and is ready to walk through the day as well. Hold on to that. Hold on to the feeling you have right now, that stillness in your chest, that space that opened up, that peace that has no completely rational explanation but is undeniably real. Hold on to it because there will be moments tomorrow when the noise of the world will try to convince you that it wasn't real, that you were just tired, that it was just a passing moment. It wasn't. It is real. You are real. What happened here tonight is real. And if this time made any difference to you, if at any moment you felt understood, if at any phrase you thought that was exactly what I needed to hear, if at any instant the tightness in your chest eased a little, then I ask one thing of you. Think of someone. Right now, before you sleep. Think of someone you know who is going through a hard night. who is lying in the dark with the same thoughts you had when this time began, who is carrying a weight they cannot release on their own, who would need to hear exactly what you heard today. Send this to that person. It doesn't need a long explanation. It doesn't need an elaborate message. It can be just this: I was listening to this and thought of you. Because sometimes the most powerful thing we can do for someone we love is simply to say, in some way, I saw you. I thought of you. You are not alone tonight. This channel exists for one simple reason: to believe that no one should face the hardest nights of their life without having a place to find peace, faith, and comfort. Every video here is built with you in mind, with who you are when you are exhausted, when you are afraid, when you need something that goes beyond what the world can offer. If you want to keep finding this space, subscribe. Not for numbers, not for metrics, but so that on the next hard night, you know there is a place to come. And now, finally, rest. You have done enough today. You are enough today. And tomorrow, when the sun returns, and it will return, you will be ready. Good night. May the peace that passed through you tonight still be with you when you open your eyes. Amen.